A very, very warm good evening. This is Arunava Chaudhuri. You are live on my YouTube channel, Arun Foot. It is Monday, December the 29th, 2025. And it's another Indian football discussion here on my channel where we talk about what is all Indian football or not. And at the start of the if you like the conversation, if you like what we talk about here or discuss, please leave a like behind, share it with other people, and of course, sorry for that. So once more, do subscribe to the channel. We stand at 3,612 people who have subscribed to the channel. Thank you very much. And watch the short videos that I try and make on a daily basis. I made a one in regard to earlier today regarding can the AIFF really be trusted by the clubs? Yesterday did something in regard to why did CFG exit Indian football, and I'm planning something tomorrow in regard to commercial partners, sponsors. Why should they need to invest in Indian football? Augusta says AFF wants the clubs to find a broadcaster. What a joke. Yes, we're back to what happened last year in the I League, right? I mean, that's the that happened in the I League as well last year, right? That the I League clubs had to figure out the broadcasting. Sounds sometimes a little crazy, but that is what happened last year as well in the I League, and they came up with Sony. So that's why my question again. Also, my question here, you know, will the ISL be played? Yes or no? Cast your votes on that as well. We'll talk about it later on. But to me, can the FF really do this league? Right? Discussion already ends even before it starts. Simple answer is no, says Simon. Yeah, in my opinion as well. I think if I like it or not, if you like it or not, we like it or not, most probably, given the circumstances, given the current realities, I would think, I would say most probably it is better that we don't have a league, have a reset, right? Sounds hard, sounds harsh maybe to some, but in my opinion, maybe the best thing to happen, given the realities. Hi, Ashish. Thank you. Ashish, I'm saying, sorry, Anish. Welcome back. Yeah, I mean, the problem at this moment in time, again, about this ISL yes or no question is very, very simple. It's like, I understand the compulsions at different entities and different clubs. I think what is also showing at the moment is that as much as the clubs want to speak in the same language, A, B, C, D, all of the clubs want to speak in the same language. The problem of the clubs is that there are different interests within the clubs, right? And that is, for me, which is understandable, right? The requirements of a Mohun Bagan Supergiant are different than to an East Bengal football club. Jamshedpur, see, I have known now for 3 weeks approximately that I understood that if Jamshedpur FC shuts down or a league is not held, then the situation might arise, that the Tatas might say, you know what, we're shutting down the whole thing, right? So for me, that's a possibility, right? To me, that is so. Therefore, it's tough. It's complicated. It's complex, but that's where we are at this moment in time. And other teams, again, Odisha FC looked like. They already have shut down. It looks to me at the moment like there are other teams as well. There are others who are somewhere in between who don't know what is the right thing to do at this moment in time. And then we are stuck where we are. Anish says, what role does AFF has to play if they can't find a broadcaster, can't find a feasible revenue model? If AFF is owning the league, how would even a reset help? What will be the business model? Anish, I think the reset, what is needed is that the AFF doesn't own the league anymore. I think that's the question that we need to talk about, right? If a reset happens, that means that the reset happens at AFF level. And if the league is not played, then we have the situation of a reset, right? If the league is not held in the coming weeks and months, if there is no 25-26 season of the ISL or whatever jumbled up league some people have in their heads in the AFF, then we have a situation where we then need to talk about, okay, what are you going to have? Right? At the moment, it looks like that this is the potential way forward, that the AFF and the clubs work together on this and create something. But then the idea is not to do a transitional season and say, listen, let's do something and let it be transitional. They're presenting a 20-year plan. And de facto, the 20-year plan, which is presented, a lot of the points which are in there are original plans from the FSDL proposal from last year. So, as I said earlier, earlier talks, earlier lives, to me, this whole thing looks like, you know what, we weren't able to, but let's see what we have, and then try and jumble up something together. And this is insane. And another thing which I've learned over the last few days is, as much as the clubs want to show unity in an Indian context, working together and trying to find common ground is very difficult, right? Unlike, let's say, a Bundesliga, even a Premier League, even a La Liga, with all their problems, right? The big clubs always want something else, right? La Liga, you have Real Madrid, Barcelona wanting something different than the smaller teams in the league, or even in La Liga too, right? The same thing happens in Germany, where Bundesliga 2 clubs have different requirements than what a Bayern Munich, even a Borussia Dortmund, RB Leipzig, or a Bayer Leverkusen have, right? Um, we have other examples. In the Premier League, you talk about the Big Six. The Big Six requirements is different than those who are going up and down. They're talking about parachute payments. They're talking about prize money and other things. Okay, how am I going to raise 70 crores? And this wishful thinking, um, that of a lot of people, that Reliance is going to come back. Yeah, Uh, so therefore, for me, it looks very difficult, right? So therefore, that's the reality. Hey, Kumar, the clubs, after all, will fall prey to its biggest enemy, desperation. Yeah, Sam, that's the point. I understand that point of desperation of the clubs. Don't get me wrong. I fully understand it, because a lot of people's work depends on a league happening. But again, I asked the simple question, is this current scenario, are these current points the best way of taking things forward? Simple question, my opinion. Is this the best for the clubs themselves? Is it the best for everybody else involved? And therefore, I don't think so, you know? And to me, that's the big problem, right? Arunava, some fellows thinking that ONG sponsored the I League because of government, but in reality, you said Munshi, president of AFF. Kumar, Mr. Das Munshi got the old deal done with ONGC originally. And even at a time of other things, Praful Patel got things done, right? Or organized money. And under 17 World Cup, very good example, right? The 2017 under 17 World Cup, the preparations, through my help, the German Football Association helped us, Nicola Adam, other things. We got other help as well. And on the other side, um, Prabhu Patel got money from the government. He got state governments to invest. Mamata Banerjee and her government put in a lot of money and effort into the Salt Lake Stadium. I actually did a critical thing. This is still available on this very channel. A video on the state of the work in I think March 2017. That video was widely circulated, even went to FIFA circles, and then suddenly they picked up. And then the gentleman who was recently fired was actually his office was shifted to the Salt Lake Stadium to get it done. So these are So let's see. Don't think, sir, Reliance will make any deals with Kalyan Chaubey and his regime. Abiru, I agree. So therefore, but the point here is what is needed. What is the best way forward for our football? Right? It's not about me. It's not about you. It's not about The challenge is one thing, and I was talking to someone also earlier today about this. The last 11 years, again, there are people who are criticizing Reliance here and there. Okay, fine. One thing you have to credit them with, they used to run the league. We didn't question, will it happen, will it not happen, which has been a question with the AIFF in the last few years, even with the IWL or the I-League. So therefore, that is a point which is there. And as you make that point, Obirup, in regard to Reliance wanting a deal, does with Kalyan Chaubey and his people, does Kalyan Chaubey want to deal with them? One thing for sure, if the league is to happen, it's not happening without FSDL, and the possibility of that happening is next to zero. Simon, yeah, in a way, it is, because the simple question is to me, which is the commercial partner who wants to come forward and support Indian football? Right? Has there been any effort by the AIFF over the last few weeks and months to find a new commercial partner to come forward and support the AIFF with the ISF? Right? So that's not happening. So therefore, these are some of the basic issues and problems we have at the moment. And if that is not sorted, we're not going anywhere. And now the OFC is saying Tata bye bye. Tata bye bye. Kumar, I'm not 100% sure. It sounds like that Odisha FC is moving into history. But at the end of the day, even if Rohan Sharma and his people are getting a lot of criticism and stake, the premise is that if things change in the future, we don't know if they might be back or not. So again, now looking at things afterwards, for example, not playing the Super Cup seems to have been a wise decision by them, right? All this Lala talks of proposals is again a diversion tactic. Simon, it seems to me, yeah, I agree with you that it seems like that this has been used by people to try and get something of a conversation going, and the financials haven't been worked out, because the financials on paper look very, very good, and the practical conversations haven't happened, right? They need to start it before the IPL starts. Augusto, yeah, but again, the sad part is, outside of us and a few other people, who cares about Indian football at the moment? Right? We are not in competition with the IPL. How many people really care about Indian football at this moment in time? Yeah. So let's wait and see. Sir will probably work in this September election. Abhirup, is there a September election? First question. Is Praful Patel coming back? I have no clue. I don't know who's going to stand. Who's going to stand? What is the situation politically? What's the situation within football? Are we having elections? Is there going to be something happening? Nobody knows. Indian football needs superstar. Only then Indian football will progress. Yeah, Avi, but who's that superstar? Right? We're not signing Cristiano Ronaldo and Messi to come to India next week, right? Fans to stop jumping into this the hype train of the ISL happening. The maths clearly say no, but even if it happens, we'll see how many of the ISL OGs go ahead without the commercial partner besides. Simon, that's the whole, you know, that's the one question that there is. But the question also is whatever league's going to come, I'm worried about the product that's going to be put out there, right? Calmly, quietly, a lot of foreigners have left or are leaving, right? A lot of foreigners have calmly, quietly left without saying anything. But I'm gone, right? Um, so therefore, yeah, we'll have to wait and see. Jamshedpur FC and East Bengal. Simon, is East Bengal really in? Because I think there's internally East Bengal. There's an issue between Imami's opinion and the East Bengal club's opinion. But again, yeah, I think there are 5, 6 entities potentially in because they need to be in, as I've said yesterday as well. Now, are there any saviors there to save Indian football? No, Kumar. No. I don't know if you've heard anything from the savior or other saviors, but I don't think so. Sir, without any commercial partner, don't think so. Any short-term league also can start. Don't think except Gonka Jindal and East Bengal Goa. Every clubs give money without knowing the commercial partner. Abiru, I don't even know if the if Goenka and Jindals are going to do it. So and FC Goa also. I think as mentioned, Jamshedpur FC, the Tatars clearly seems to be the case. Um, Otherwise, East Bengal is mentioned. I think Northeast United are under pressure. Mohun Bagan, yes, but that's more Mohun Bagan super giant management. Is it really the owner? And then let's wait and see. I would choose, even if FSL does it, tendering process itself will take around a month, best case. That is January end. After the FSL has to prepare themselves, minimum 3-4 weeks. That's February end in a 3-month league. Uchud, league, I don't even think that we're talking about a league. I think we're talking about an extended tournament. If we're doing bubble and this and that and everything, we're going back to bubble league. So therefore, for me, I don't know what we're talking about. And even if a tendering process happens, why would FSTL or why would Reliance take part? I'm damn sure Mumbai City, Mountain Sporting, Interkashi, Odisha FC, Chennai are out of the picture. No, they're not. Simon, Odisha FC is out of the picture. I think Chennai could be out of the picture. I think Interkashi would take part. Mountain Sporting will take part. Mumbai City, I think, is on the edge, is on the fence. But I don't see them shutting down as an entity, but they're on the fence of playing. So therefore, that's the interesting part that we have to see. There is a lot of clubs where I think, again, the East Bengal Jamshedpur FC party most probably will be strengthened by Interkashi, by Mohammedan Sporting, by Mohun Bagan, potentially Northeast United. So there are 5, 6 clubs. But again, let's wait and see. But even in best case scenario, with the cost of clubs, assuming 20 crores, they need 280 crores to break even. Assuming 75% of it comes from broadcast, anyway, they will need at least 110 broadcast deal, right? Anish, uh, no one is paying you 5 rupees for broadcast. So therefore, forget the broadcast discussion is a very weird one because, in my opinion, your biggest problem with the broadcast at the moment is you've got 2 players, Star and Sony. Star is clearly cutting down on its expenditures. And for Star and Sports 18, the ISL has been an 11-year expenditure. Let's be clear about it. Sony took money from the I League last season. So, so therefore, all of these things don't work. So, and you are calculating this, who's going to pay for the production? Producing is a cost. Only dotted clubs to say okay with AFS East Bengal just. Kumar, I think there are more. And that 20-year clause is too much, in my opinion. It has to be 10 years max as of now. Uchit, the proposal of the whole thing to me, even for 5 years, I don't know if it works. Right? We are in a situation with this league where I wouldn't be sure if the league can work for 5 years, given the current scenario. So therefore, I don't know. I really don't know if it's also a ploy to keep the clubs playing, you know, and see if something can be worked out. That's to me at the moment the biggest concern that there is, right? Yeah, quick reminder, 24 of you are watching this live on this Monday evening. Welcome to Arun Foot. If you haven't, like, share, and subscribe. 5 likes so far. I think, guys, you can do better. Please uh, put on the like button and, of course, share it with others to join in our conversations. 3,613 of you are now subscribers. Thank you very, very much. And watch the short videos. I did something today on the ISL in regard to can the clubs trust the AIFF on it. And yeah, as always, like, share, and subscribe. And of course, hype. Hey, Akash, this hard reset was necessary, but not in this way. Akash, maybe in this way. Maybe it's needed in this way because, I don't know how we're gonna go into this. So everyone talks about ISL. What about I League, I League Two? They're the main pillars where pillars come from. Full ecosystem looks like collapse down. Abhinav, your problem is I League Two, I League Three. I League Three, I don't see happening. I League Two, I don't see happening. If the AIFF is able to work out something for the ISL, then maybe the I League might happen. Or worst case, they will try to hold some sort of league with ISL and I League clubs, right? So yeah, therefore, I don't know. Very difficult. Your take on BSL. Shobhan, I don't have a take on BSL because I've not seen anything of it. And it doesn't seem to be appearing. I'm only hearing empty grounds, this, that, everything. The things that at least in Kerala has worked, who've now faced problems because of finance, right? Or non-payment of GST. So there's there's a scandal brewing, I think, about Super League Kerala. Let's see. Yeah, let's see where we stand. We're there. Regardless of what the AIFF does, they are surely losing money anyway. The product, don't get me going on that. Simon, do the AIFF have the money to spend? Again, I come back to a basic question, and they don't, right? In my opinion, they don't. Um, so that's the thing. Free streaming on YouTube is on the way. Yeah, if that happens, Akash, still we have a broadcast cost. Who's producing it? How are they producing it? Who's paying for it? Man, what is the finances? If Negi's estimates is true, the AIFF will become broke within the next 14 months. Simon, if they have to pay for the ISL, they're going to be broke before the end of the season, right? So the AIFF needs to generate additional revenue. They can't afford to spend extra money, right? The Indian Army organized Duran Cup very professionally with broadcasting in Sony, but AFF can't organize. That's the very sad reality. Abhirup, again, with all due respect, Indian Army, I've organized a couple of Duran Cups myself. It might look very well organized, but if you look at how the way that it has been organized in some ground states and whatever, you will not say it's organized very professionally. And again, it is the Indian Army, so therefore Sony shows the matches. So again, there are certain realities of things. So don't compare it with the AFF on that front. Why East Bengal is suddenly aggressively supporting Federation of All case? Akash, that's my thought as well. Yeah. Then, sir, how would the hard reset work? Clubs will have to drastically cut the player salary, then even decent foreigners will not come. Anish, forget the foreigners, right? We need to look at our football system, and if the hard reset would mean changes in the AFF. If the league doesn't happen, we will have changes in the AFF, most probably faster than the elections. That's one. The clubs could call out a force majeure situation, which means if you're staying around and say, listen, we will reset 2026, you can cut on the salaries. Because otherwise, again, if I have a good contract, why would I cut it? If I'm a player, convince me why I should cut it. East Bengal stabbing ISL clubs. Rakesh, it's not only them. They are the ones who took it at the forefront now. Jamshedpur FC are also saying that they would, go with it. And I know at least three, four other teams who potentially would go with it. So yeah, not right, but again, that's the way it is. Sports Vista can help indirectly through PSU and government companies, as per Ref Sport report, if AIFF fail to bring FSL or other commercial partners. Does Ref Sports know? And again, with all due respect to Boria, this is BS. If the government wanted to help with PSU or other money things, they could have done it over the last few months. Have they done anything except, oh, come, let's meet, sit down, let's talk, right? If we are putting the blame on the AFF of talking all the time, listen, the PSUs are not the same PSUs that they were 10, 15, 20 years ago. 10, 20 years ago, you call PSU, hey, paisa do. Doesn't work that way anymore, right? It's a reason why companies like HAL, like in ONGC, like in Air India, like in ITI have dropped out of the top echelons of Indian football. So, so for me, sorry, this whole PSU talk, and oh yes, it will happen. There's another quote which someone sent me yesterday. Boria said, "Oh, the ISL will surely happen. Otherwise, it's an international embarrassment." The whole thing is an international embarrassment. Happening or not happening, this has to be understood. What I don't understand is that Indian football is not talking about the exit of CFG. It is the biggest slap in the face of Indian football, of Indian club football, in the face of the ISL. Everyone, even in Reliance. Do they understand this? League not happening, nobody cares. That is what we should be talking about. Oh, the league will surely happen. Right? This bullshit, sorry, BS agenda of certain people, especially in Kolkata, is rubbish. According to you, the league was starting in November, then it was starting December, then you said 26th of Jan, now you're saying February, next week you'll say March. Stop it. Don't give false hopes. Ask critical questions of the AIFF. Ask critical questions of the clubs. Ask critical questions of East Bengal, Mohun Bagan. If you have the guts, go out there and tell your reporters to ask critical questions to those clubs, because they will not, because you live off them, right? Stop following these people. Stop giving them views. Because they are causing the problems of Indian football. They're causing problems for Indian sports. They are sucking money out of the system, which doesn't exist. Guys, come on, wake up to those things. I'm fed up with these idiots. Why Federation not coming with this model for I-Leagues? Akash, who's going to pay for it? Do you think small teams from the Northeast are going to pay money to the AIFF to be part of a league? Guys, wake up. They are not able to solve the ISL problems. Do you think that they can parallelly solve the problems of the I-League? And do you think the I-League clubs will then jumble together and put the money together? Even if we say, oh, you know what, for the I-League, we need a kitty of 15 or 20 crores. Who's going to pay for it? If I'm unable to do it in the ISL, this will not work in the I-League. And that is also a reality. That the clubs, right? We always blame the AIFF. The AIFF is a problem. The state FAs have been getting a lot of stick. But now even the clubs are in this conversation, because they don't speak with one voice, and they don't. And that's why, please watch my short video today, where I sum up some of these issues and problems where I feel this is what we need to talk about. Because if you have these 14 clubs as part of a league, and the AIFF is your 15th party in this conversation, right? Who's going to be the league commissioner to keep all of them together? Because all those 15 entities are going to run left, right, and center, up and down, or you don't even know. I just see very poor marketing of BSL. Shivan, grounds not in condition, marketing is a problem. Do your homework and then start the league. Huh? Only ISL clubs funding more money to have what I-Leagues doing for Indian football. Rakesh, the problem is a different one. It wasn't the ISL clubs. It was FSDL. The ISL clubs were living off FSDL for the last 11 years without a question. Listen, they got a league. Everything calendar said this, said that, whatever. At the start, they were even helping you to organize home matches. Now they don't have someone to organize your league, don't have a broadcaster, don't have a funder. These are three of the five key questions. I asked that in a tweet today, right? I asked that question today. One second, let me quote myself. Right? That there are issues that need to be looked at and need to be discussed. And we're not looking at those and we're not discussing those things. Right? Very big problem. So I don't know. Sorry, one second. It's loading. No one knows how federation contribute money towards the central budget. Yeah, of course not. That is my whole question that I have. No. I earlier asked the ISL clubs need clarity on the following from the AIFF: governance, league leadership, funding, commercial partner, broadcasts. Otherwise, they turn out another poorly organized league like I League or IWL by the AIFF. Very simple. Simple point that I made on Twitter. Nothing more, nothing less. Kenyans probably don't care about AIFF getting bankrupt. That corrupt fellow will destroy Indian football till elections. Will care about aftermath of it. Ayush, yeah? Is he corrupt or not? I can't tell you. But is he destroying Indian football? Yes. Is he destroying Indian football because um, 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 you know, um, very difficult to say. It seems like Goa, Bengal, West Bengal Federation chiefs are more capable than the entire FF. At least they're coming with plans quickly. Couldn't even bring anything in the last 2 years. You mean Goa, Bengal, and Kerala, Akash? This is not coming from them. It's come from the AFF. These are not their proposals, right? Don't take Borea seriously. Yeah, so I don't. Sir, it's my opinion the government give pressure to conduct the league as quick as possible. The club consortium, including Mohnbang, also don't think without any commercial partner they will play. What the government wants, what the government is doing is another query in itself, right? The government has been a passenger in these conversations. The government has not done things proactively where you would say, you know what, um, we can help with this, we can help with that. They've just said, oh, just hold the league to both sides, and it is not happening. So yeah, we're stuck in that. Without FSDL, the league quality will be worse than I League. I was 100%. Because they are trying to jumble up something for the sake of jumbling up something, and that is not working. About FSDL coming back, Ajitesh, I wouldn't know. I wouldn't know. I think nobody knows. All the big PSUs are profit oriented now. Why would they throw money for loss? Yeah, Akash, very, very right. Ideally, a complete reset and directly at 26, 27 full league with at least 10 years plan should be done. This with time to all the stakeholders, but AF is under pressure and so are CEOs of club. Mayank, yes, but even 26, 27, for it to happen, you would first have to have a reset in the AFF, right? With the current AFF, you're not going to get to that point. That is, from a thought process, my concern, if I look at this, you know, from the current scenario, where I don't think, it's very difficult, right? And are we in a position to create things rather than. And I don't know. I really find it. I don't know if we're going to get there, how we want to get there. Sir, if I'm in FSTL, we're extremely happy today when I see the current situation of Indian football gives the narrative to the messiah like Ranjit Bandre. Abhirup, do these messiahs or whatever these people, other people care? Do they understand this? I think it's not only him, it's a lot of people who didn't understand the value of Reliance and FSDL in there. Funding, organizing, running the league. Right. No questions asked in the last 11 years on that. Right. It just was happening. That's the problem. One thing I don't get, how can people like Kalyan and Scooter face their family after knowing killing in football? Ah, Ayush, that is, a lot of people in the world don't care, right? A short-term planning with big format of Super Cup 8 modified ISL will not help anyone in the long term, as it will not be sustainable each year the search of a new broadcast. Mayank, I think at the moment there is no, even in the short midterm, there is no broadcaster anywhere in sight, if I'm very honest. Our problem is we need a sustainable league for the next 3 to 5 years, and people will have to suffer hefty losses, right? That at the end of the day, I think, again, if come back to the CFG discussion, why did City Football Group pull out? The current impasse is clear. Decision wasn't taken yesterday. Decision wasn't taken a month ago. This decision was taken in the summer, right? Why? Because CFG realized, listen, we're going to put in money into this, but there's, forget return. It's a black hole. It's a sinkhole. You put in 1 paisa, that 1 paisa is gone. You put in 1 rupee, that 1 rupee is gone. You put in 100, 100 is gone. You put in 1,000, you put in crores, khatam, tada, bye bye. Yeah. So AFF only want money, nothing they care about in football. Rakesh, that they don't care about Indian football, I think is hard, but yes, they need the money to run the system. So I also understand that angle of the federation. But the federation has come down to a level of saying, you know what? I'm even willing to put in money, at least on paper. I'm willing to put in money. And yeah, so, uh, right? The problem of Indian football today is that if there is no money coming in via commercial partner, how can the AFF keep its system running? Be it its office in Delhi, coaching courses, all the other courses that happen, state competitions, youth and seniors, national team, youth and seniors, men's and women's, even I League 3, I League 2, I League, right? So, welcome. The only reason the federation is going ahead with this regard is just to satisfy the Supreme Court. Surely they know the financial consequences for this decision. Simon, I don't know if they know that. If the AIFF was smart, the AIFF would go to Supreme Court and say, you know, guys, you've given us clause 23.3, we can take care of it ourselves now. Okay, we're doing it. We are now stepping up as an AIFF. We're changing it. We're making changes to the constitution. The first one which comes in is that the top tier league of the country is not going to be owned and operated by us, but can be operated by third party or the clubs or both. How AIFF is so confident in owning running top tier football league for 20 years, seeing the prior experience of I League, will the clubs trust the operation management of AIFF commercial partner? SB Sports Extremes, I also, tell you and the others, watch my video, which I did create earlier today. Can ISL clubs trust AFF to organize and run the league? To me, they can't. In my opinion, I would say no. If you ask me my honest opinion on the matter, I would say, guys, no, you can't, right? But the point here is, we've discussed this earlier in the show today, that there are clubs and entities who are under pressure if they do not have a league season. Their owners, yeah, might say, you know what, thank you very much, let's shut down, right? Guys, we can't be going giving suggestions without knowing the financial situation. We're simply not in a position to conduct the league, and we're giving space to people who think ISL should happen, as otherwise it will be shameful for Indian sports and the government. Simon, again, and that's also a wrong approach. Again, the whole situation has been shameful now for months, right? The Supreme Court, the government have their share of why Indian football today is where it is. The Supreme Court of India should have not gotten involved in the way it did in regard to the AFF constitution. That's the starting point of it. This 2017 case in regard to AIFF versus Rahul Mehra and all the others, Ranjit and whoever's involved, that is the main culprit of where we are today. Because of this false friend of saying, oh, you know what, AIFF constitution is this, that, everything. We need athletes at the top of our sporting bodies. Why athletes? Thank you very much. Be on the field, but don't manage the sport if you've not learned something or understood something, right? Kalyan Chaub is just proving left, right, and center that an athlete without the management skills, without the knowledge of sports management, administration, cannot be in that position. You know, so these are realities. Sports minister Arunava plan new leagues and admin. Rakesh, the sports minister has nothing to say about new leagues. State is also equally responsible. Generally, they're all responsible. Tell me someone who is not responsible for this. The only one who are not responsible for this is actually Reliance, right? ISL, ILEX, someone working together. Someone wants AIFF to own the league. Someone wants FS to back, and some just want chaos. Very well summed up, Mayank. Very well summed up. Because in this chaos, the smaller fish are still important, right? If the whole thing is structured, if the thing is running in a clean, clear cut way, then the small fish are not a player in this whole, scenario. And therefore, yeah, that's the reality. That's if we like it or not, that's one of the reality. Today, some state if we talked with FS there, like supposedly people are talking and nobody has spoken to FS so far. The only influence Kalyan has is to ask for extra aloo and chutney with samosa. He's no Prabhu Patel to bring big investors. Mayank, he's not even, forget Prabhu Patel level. Prabhu Patel or Priyanand Dasmunsi, with all their shortcomings, but they knew who and how to approach people. They've got the network. Would Kalyan Chaubey be able to raise 10,000 rupees for the AIFF? I'm not even talking in lakhs or crores. 10,000 bucks. Can he raise 10,000 bucks for the AIFF? I don't think so. Right? And that is part of your key skill. The president and Kalyan is involved in stuff which he doesn't need to be involved in. Your main thing is to represent the federation, to interact with the government, to interact with AFC and FIFA, and if needed, bring paisa lao, paisa lao. The situation has been simply dragged into a dead end due to the lack of proactiveness from all parties, and we know the reason for it: ego, self-interest, and the sheer disregard for the overall development of the sport. Yeah, again, like earlier speakers or whatever people have written in the chat, Simon, I have to agree with you, right? The reality of these things is brutal. At this moment in time, we are somewhere where I think no one of us wants Indian football to be. And it is a massive problem. A massive, massive problem for Indian football where we are at this stage. And nobody can take him or herself out. I was speaking with someone who I'd consulted in 2014 before I joined Mumbai City FC. Good friend of mine based in Mumbai. And we were speaking over the festive season. And he jokingly told me, Arunava, would you have thought that Indian football would be where it is today? And I said simply, no, never in my wildest dreams. Right? Wildest dreams. I knew the ISL would have some problems here and there, hiccups, not proper spending, this and that, everything. But I thought most probably in 7 to 10 years, the ISL would find its footing. Of course, COVID is a factor, this, that, and then also, of course, AFC FIFA coming in with the roadmap, but didn't think it would derail the way it did. Right? Because we also have to be honest. Even if, let's say, this model had continued and FSL had stayed, if the things would have been going as they've been going, things have been going wrong over the last 2-3 years. That is another point, right? I don't like Praful as well, but at least he and the GS at the time were more closer to reality than the current. The GS at the time, Kushal Das, was very close to reality, right? Is this deal better? Is this deal slash model better for the perspective of potential commercial partner? No. Why would you, again, with the AIFF owning and operating the league, why would you be a commercial partner in this? Right? People calling this a reset, to them, my simple question is this really a reset or merely done for the sake of doing it? Simon, again, it is B, option B. This is not a reset. This is, we can talk about what is a reset or what could be, should be perceived to be a reset. This at the moment is not a reset. This is just to keep the whole thing alive somehow or the other. So yeah, what confidence, pride, ego AIFF had when they rejected the first proposal of FSDL. The current proposal AIFF gave to clubs is not far from the FSDL proposal. Mark said this earlier as well today. To me, yes, it is. So for me, you know, um, for me, this is the crazy one that sort of 14, 15 months after a proposal, um, yeah, that we're there, we're back to square one. Now the someone should kick out Kalan Chauvin's international. Yeah, but Kumar, who's going to do that? That's easily said, right? If the Exco doesn't do it, if the state FAs don't do it, there is nobody else, no other body can do it. Can ISL name be used? Yes, Nishant, the name has been given back to the AIFF by FSTL and by Reliance. If the clubs cut costs for players, which can they at least reach break even? I'm asking because I'm not understand the current target of this club consortium. No, Akash, they can't. The costings of the clubs overall is so high. If I'm cutting costs for the players, if you want to break even, I even what we were discussing yesterday, reduce some of my travel costs, but I still keep that standard. If I want to break again, where are my sponsors? How much actually am I raising? Right? I was getting about 15, 20 crores out of money here and there. Will fans come to the grounds? Right? Am I in a position to attract fans to come to matches? Right? All of these things are huge factors in my opinion. So, and if the club consortium has to run the league, you are spending an additional 3 to 5 crores per team. And some of the teams might say, no, I don't want to do this, but you want them in the league, then the others will have to put in even more. So break even is, I don't even know how far away it is. Right. Mayank says Simon sums up completely. They will approach a problem in the most merry-go-round way possible and end up at the same position. Simon, that's very well said. One second. Ah, get up once. That's one of the problems, right? At the moment, that we are in a situation that the AIFF has put itself in, where it could have avoided this a year ago, right? Without the intervention of the Supreme Court. They could have extended the MRA, could have gone with once more with Reliance. Yeah, but hasn't happened, right? So we are, and then we are having meetings and meetings and meetings. We're losing time, and we are at the end of December now, right? Realistically, on a good day, we could have something happening in what, mid-Feb? Good day. Yeah. So yeah, that's the problem, right? AIFF wants full control, wants to own and operate reserves a good amount of profit revenue if there is, but AIFF can't put a single penny more, can't arrange anything, ask clubs to do everything instead. What? Again, G9I. I've said this earlier today. This is in the last few days or weeks. There is no profit to be shared. That we're talking about profits is it's insane because there is no profit to be shared at this moment in time. Right? The thing is that this is a sinkhole. I said this a little earlier. Put in a paisa, put in a rupee, put in 10, 100,000, a lakh, a crore. That money is going in and it's not coming back. For the clubs in this current scenario, they will cut costs, they will have to cut costs. But the likelihood of their losses actually going up compared to the last 2 years is very, very likely because they will have to shoulder more of a burden. That is when I want to see when that conversation happens internally in the clubs, if the clubs are going to be willing to bear that. I know at least of 3, 4 owners who will say, I'm supposed to pay to be part of this league. I'm supposed to pay for this. I'm supposed to pay for that. What's the plan? There isn't. A failed politician is not suitable for sports management. When small people get big chairs, the ego destroys everything. Akash, I wouldn't even go to that failed politician point. It can be generalized for a lot of people who are around in the sports ecosystem and even other people within the AIFF, right? Now, with this new model, at least clubs can survive to recovery mode because earlier clubs need to pay 15, 20 crores of franchise fee to FSL. Now it will be 2 to 3 crores. Nishant, you're not really saying that, right? And this shows me the ignorance that a lot of people have. Sorry to say that. You're ignorant. When you make a statement like this, it shows you don't understand anything, right? And I'll tell you why. First of all, do you know if every franchise has been paying that franchisee fee in the last few years? First question, right? Never been discussed, but I'm raising this question. Not every franchisee fee has been paying franchisee fees, right? Nobody's paid 20 crores. It was between 12 and 18. Get your facts right. Franchisee fee now is 1, not 2 to 3. But to run the league, who's going to put in the money? But you were getting money out of the central pool. 12 to 15 crores was coming to you from the central pool. How much money are you going to get from the central pool? A big zero, which means you are down, you know, um, from what you were getting earlier. And this is new model doesn't survive. You are what I just said before I read your point. Your losses this season will be higher than in the last one, even if you cut down on costs. And I have said this, if I am in the player's position, why should I say, oh, bhai, I'll take a cut? Convince me why she should take a cut. If you've signed a contract with me, that's not my fault. It's your fault. It's market, right? If a Mehtab Singh is signed for the figure he has, and a Puya the figure he has, a Jixon he has, Anwar he has, congratulations, boys. It's on the clubs. So your losses theoretically will this season be higher even in this shortened window? Because you've already paid for a lot of things until the day that the league starts. But hey, this model at least keeps the clubs alive. Sorry, it's not even, I mean, it's laughable. Sorry. So before the current AIFF constitution, was there a clause in the previous constitution that the top tier league should be operated and run by the Football Federation or Apex? There was nothing mentioned of that, right? Shameful for Indian sports and government, bro. How it wasn't shameful when we finished 71 in Olympics with no achievement in any serious sport. Ayush, again, this is what these people construct, and again, people are defending things which are indefensible, right? Sorry. Now, sir, why I sell I-League tenders are lucrative for investors? Why investors running away? Can you brief explain, sir? Chenjualin, you put in money and get nothing back. If I'm spending, as I said, if I'm spending 1 rupee, what am I getting my money back? Am I getting a, normally what do you do? As an investor, you invest into something, you put in money, after a certain period of time, you're going to get your money back. And ideally, there will be a value add. Let's say you put money into the bank. Just say these people put that money into the bank. You'll get interest. It is like getting interest in a bank, right? This is a one-way street. You're putting money in, you're not getting your money back. Think about that. Reliance has lost more than 3,500 crores in the last 15 years on Indian football. So this is it. Kalyan Chaub is feeling Shahji Ranji Bajaj on Mera groups. No, he's not, Rakesh. If that was that, that is it. Honestly, according to you, is there a solution from here realistically? Ayush, as I said, I think best thing, don't hold the league. As hard as it might sound, that is the only way to make force changes on the AIFF, right? Otherwise, we are in this jumbled up, muddled up situation, and nothing changes, right? Listen, Nishant, bro, reply fast is nice. Again, I'm trying to answer all the questions in the best possible way. Did AFF meet internally today? And Uchud, not that I know of. AFF owner है और अब तो आईएसएल को भी मैनेज कर रहा है और कर रहा है क्लब्स को खोज के लाने के लिए कैसा नकारा निकमा ओनर है. Gina and I, because the problem is they are not in a position to find a commercial partner or to get a broadcaster, right? The tender of ISL, I League, IWL, all of it showed no one is seriously interested because you can't answer the questions and queries of those entities who are showing at least a little bit of interest. And you've shown last season that you couldn't get a broadcaster for the I League, and then the clubs went into the market and got Sony and had to pay Sony. So yeah, this is the situation. I bet this whole saga can be a good case study for upcoming lawyers and economists, one that should be in textbooks. Simon, it should be something where you say to the lawyers, don't touch it. Economists, yes. And then say, it's a matter of governance. This whole thing of the AIFF at the moment shows to me that the governance part of Indian football is the most neglected part of the thing. Right? So, when is the next meeting and expectation? Nishant, there are meetings happening, but again, the clubs are not deciding themselves. And and the AIFF in the worst case is going to do some sort of jumbled up tournament or league or whatever with, I don't know, ISL clubs, I League clubs, maybe, I don't know, even local league teams to showcase that we're doing something. I think that's the worst case scenario. But then those ISL teams then need to step up and say, no, we're not going to play this, right? So therefore, that is also that you have to show spine. I am not seeing it from the clubs. I see that as a big, big problem at the moment. Proposal is good as Vision 2047, good on paper, but implementation is impossible. Again, same issue. Who is commercial partner? Who's against the clause of operating the league broadcaster? Kaun hoga? I don't even think this is a good proposal on paper. It is not a good proposal on paper. I think if you look back, I would say that the FSDL proposal actually had more of a foundation to build on. This does not have foundations to build on. Because again, the 5 points that I've raised, governance, who would be the league commissioner to try and keep all of this together? Funding, commercial partner broadcast. There are too many open questions, right? There is not one commercial partner is one of the issues. But there are too many issues in there and that it's not helping. Both the AFF president and AFF bank balance is a joke. Yeah, which wasn't the case, right, earlier. Shahji's man Ranji Bajar Mera to stop in full. No, Rakesh, he's not. Sir, FIFA and FC can be brought on the table as complaint or to look inside. Only they're observing and they have other things, other issues to look at. Indian football is there, yes, nice. But for FIFA and AFC, they've tried 2022. We did Indian Jugaad and the Indian Jugaad got us Kalyan Chaube and the other people involved. Now we have to deal with that, what we've created, right? We created a monster ourselves. Indian football created that monster. And now Indian football has to get out of that. And that's the problem. Every meeting ends with a delay in the main discussion point, finances, sustainability, and here we're going mad for the next meeting date. Yeah, Simon, welcome to the club. Harry is correct when he said since the AFF wants to own and operate the league, they should be allocating money for top league, but they haven't. They just want free money. Samar, they don't want free money. Again, also that is a wrong, assessment of the situation. The AIFF need the money to run the rest of the system, right? They need the money to run everything else, right? Again, we are heading into a disastrous 2026. If the things continue they are at the moment, we are heading for, not very nice times. If I put myself in the smelly shoes of Mr. Chobe, the first thing I would have done is to consult the AFC, FIFA, not the Supreme Court. Simon, he doesn't do that. Very good point, but he doesn't do that, right? Because he hasn't understood that FIFA and AFC for you should be more important than the Supreme Court of India. That is the big problem. Right, we've crossed the hour mark. Just looking at 50 votes so far, will the ISL be played 25-26 season? At the moment, 42% say yes, 58% say no. Let's wait and see how this voting develops. And as always, like, share, and subscribe Arun Foot here on YouTube. We have at the moment, let me just check how many likes. 18, 19? 19 likes so far. And share with other people potentially to join in. And of course, if you haven't, do subscribe to the channel. We're at 3,616 at the moment. Thank you very much. And do watch the short videos. Again, as I said, I did something today on can ISL clubs trust AFF to organize and run the league? And yesterday, a little bit more insightful, a little bit longer on the whole Manchester City, City Football Group departure from Mumbai City. What kind of implications? Why did CFG decide to leave the island? Sir, any chance that Sharjah Sports could step in as a commercial partner? No. Apex. Again, look at the way they're running the Bengal Super League. Do you think that they are the commercial partner to run it or even broadcaster? I don't think so. Again, I'm a nobody when it comes to sports management. My opinions don't matter, but seriously, this should be the first step they should have taken, right? Yeah. Yeah. Go FIFA, go AFC, but they don't go. But even FSL wasn't making money, clubs weren't. So what's stopping them now? Just the commercial partner and the broadcaster? See, the point is FSL wasn't making money, but FSDL in the background, without you actually caring and bothering, was ensuring that the system was running. And that is what is missing at the moment. So the commercial partner is one, and Reliance can go and talk to a broadcaster differently than you can. Because what did they do 2 years ago when Star said, "Oh, we're out"? At the time, they owned Sports 18 and said, "Hey, Sports 18, please show the ISL." End of conversation. What the transaction internally did, nobody knows, right? And when Sports 18 merged into Star Sports once more was showing the ISL. Hotstar was showing the ISL. Very simple. Kerala FA President Navas Meran said to clubs that they should meet FSL to get them back as financial partners in today's meeting between AFF and clubs. Yeah. Oh God, please no Shachi Beggars can't be choosers, but I'm telling you, they will make it. It won't happen, Simon. How can clubs survive under AFF league according to you? Not at all, Nishant. Under AFF, the league will not survive. Yeah. Uh, because the AFF is in no position to organize this league. And the faster the AFF recognizes that, the better it is for Indian football. At the moment, we are in a very tricky situation where the clubs need to stand their ground, because in this current model forced on the AFF, let's be very clear, this is not a model that the AFF has chosen, but that's been enforced on them by the Supreme Court, for which there was no necessity. There was no need to put in the constitution that the top tier league in the country needs to be run by the AFF, because it happens factually nowhere. The Premier League is not run by the English FA. The Bundesliga is not run by the German FA. The Royal Spanish Football Association doesn't own La Liga. MLS is not owned by the USSF or the Canadian Soccer Association. The A-League is not run by the Australian and New Zealand FA. So go on. It was not needed. right? That is my point in this whole discussion, that this is a scenario that the AFF and their lawyer in the Supreme Court could have avoided by saying, gentlemen, their honors, honorable gentlemen, this is not something that you need to look into. You know, this has to be sorted within sports. And because of that, the whole tendering process of the AFF was an unnecessary thing. Right? PC, should Kalyan Chobe go to sports ministry and beg them for any government or competitive commercial partner? Nishant, he's done that surely. If the sports minister wanted to put money into Indian football, he could have done that. He said, hey, yeah, you've got. Didn't the AFF went to the government and said, the sports ministry, can you give us money to organize things? Years were passed and info post condition shows no change. Enough. At the moment, it is very, very tricky. Even if the season happens, would AFC give an exemption to the clubs on two spots in the AFC Champions League? Apex, that is a conversation that the AFF needs to have with them, and which they're not having, which is funny. They're telling the clubs, oh, ask the AFC if they're going to give you the slots. AFF is doing none of its basic works. What is the best model for ISL according to you? Do you think J League is good to copy? No, I don't think the J League is a good model to copy, because J League was started with a premise of proper investment, not only in the football, but also in grassroots youth and infrastructure. In an Indian context, that's not happening. I can't tell all my investors, say, you're spending 200 crores on your infrastructure, stadium, and training facility, right? Which is, for example, in the MLS in North America, it's one of the things that David Beckham had to work very, very hard and say, hey, you have to build a stadium, a football specific stadium. Yeah. Minimum budget 250 million. You have to commit 1 billion USD to the franchise to become part of MLS. So therefore, the J League model to me doesn't work. We need to find our own model. We have to be honest enough that the old FSDL owned Reliance model is also flawed, right? We need to, you know, right? So therefore, I don't know what's going to happen. So to me, this is something which is very difficult to say what is the right model, because I think we need to talk about, or people need to sit down and talk and chat and say, what are the different models that are available, right? And you know, so not sure if we are in the right track or not, but yeah, let's see. Indian football team is disallowed to participate in Asian Games as Olympic Council of Asia decided to make it 16 team in Asian Games football. Those U23 teams qualified for U23 Asian Cup 2026. Okay, Noruza, this is news. Has anyone else heard this? I haven't heard this. I'm hearing this for the first time. If that's the case, then the whole Asian Games conversation at leagues is dead. I've not heard this. This would be news to me. Bengal Super League, what's your take on that? Selvin, at the moment, it looks like it's going to be a flop show. I mean, I've seen some footage from people I know who've gone to grounds and have watched matches here and there, and they're empty, right? So it's yeah, difficult. Apex, I know, bro, better nothing, just really looking at the worst scenario now. Yeah, but that's not makes no sense. Why are you looking at running other things? Just focus on men's football. For others, look at ask the government once the men's football stabilizes, provides revenue. If and then AFF should look at women and youth. Nixon, you can't. See, I get your idea, but the job of the AFF, the first job of the AFF is actually to run grassroots youth and what we would call amateur football, right? So that's something which is there, and and to me, Neil, thanks a lot for the £1. Um, for me, that is something which is very, very important. That is your first task. To run a professional men's league should not be the task of the All India Football Federation if they're not able to even run the rest of the system, right? So therefore, ideally, independent commercial partner or the clubs. To me, this current situation also proves the clubs themselves cannot run a league. That has also been proved. That if you would give the clubs, be it the ISL clubs, be it the I League clubs, and I go back to example 2002, there was a so-called clubs rebellion to remove Freyaranjan Dasmunchi, led by a certain Vijay Malia and Samit Thapa. Vijay Malia, of course, behind East Bengal, Mohun Bagan, Samit Thapa behind JCT. Mr. Dasmunchi was smart enough to remain in power. Same thing happened in 2012. The Indian Professional Football Clubs Association was formed. Chirag Tanna, then with Pune FC, was the mastermind behind it. Even that, Praful Patel could live around. So if we are thinking that the clubs, who are the key elements of especially youth development, forget grassroots, but in youth development, the clubs are the key factor for our football. If they are not doing their job, it is close to impossible for us to actually evolve and develop. It is, and that is the danger that I see at this moment in time. That where we are stuck is very, very, very dangerous. FSTL will not do the mistake again if they do joke is on FSTL. Neil, the point is, I don't see FSDL doing it, but there are political powers who could request and say, please, please, please. Yeah. Which is very weird because that has also not happened. Right. So I'm not sure, Neil, if that there is a change going to happen on that front. Owned by or run by different things? Theoretically, yes. But in this case, AFF to own, operate, and run, if you want to sum it up like that. AFF should form a body in which AFF and club representatives and some members will handle ISL, I League 2, I League 3. It won't happen. Because what did I just say about the clubs, Nishant? Your ISL clubs have their own interests, the I League clubs have their own interests, the I League 2, I League 3. And the problems of an ISL club is not the same of an I League 3 club. An I League 3 club is a grassroots club sometimes, which is by chance gotten to the national level. So we need to keep those things in mind. And to me, the learning is again what I say, and it was also the problem in 2016, 17, 18, when we were working on the FIFA AFC roadmap. To talk to and try to make the clubs understand that there needs to be something happening. So, nice idea from your side, Nishant. But we also need to get all the other things sorted. Worst case, can AFF get PSU as commercial partner for the season? No. I don't see that happening. As I said, the AFF doesn't have the pull or the power to go out there and say, hey guys, can you please, 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 please fund us? Don't see that happening. Evening, Welsian. I say we are so far off track on the Indian football that this circus is in no man's land, as those who want to don't want to because of AFF, and those who are in it don't know how to. Yeah, well said. Well said. Welsian, that's the problem. Thanks once again, Neil, for the pound. I don't like Shachi to me that clear. Just want the league to happen. Shachi is not in a position, that's yeah. No chance for leagues in futures. Also, don't worry for Spencer's, says Rakesh. Okay. Now, in Supreme Court, AFL lawyers did not counter the facts on how other football constituting European countries to counter against Rahul Mehra and Rajiv Bajaj. Kumar, they didn't counter anything, right? I can guarantee you, if AFF can run the league for 1 year, next year it will collapse automatically with knowing AFF competency. Kumar, the thing is that from now to next year, let's say by end of next year, this time there should be a different AFF leadership. My question is also the clubs. You commit to a 20-year league to the AFF, which could be turned around next year, and they said, okay, we're not going to run the league this way. We're going to do a tender, this, that. We're going to change the constitution. This constitution was made based on false messiah cricket model. That constitution itself is unconstitutional, nothing to do with any football who will tell them that football doesn't run like cricket. It is not built on cricket. Let's me be clear on that. But there are things that have been taken from cricket. There are things that are taken that in India people want, and this has created the mess that we find ourselves in. If FSL doesn't do it, isn't it the end of that entity? Yes, Uchud, it is. Theoretically, it could be without us knowing that there are FSDL in a couple of days might be history and that entity might shut down completely. Right? There are a lot of people who've left in the last few weeks. So yeah, that's the reality. So the funny part is that the AIFF gives schedules of format before any broadcaster, commercial partner. And the funny part, this is yeah, because they're trying to create something, right? For whatever reasons, they're trying to create something without actually factually having a substance. You're trying to create uh, the point at the moment is we are somewhere swimming in there and hoping something can will happen and it's insane to think that it can and will happen because um I still don't know how the AFF can go out into the market and say, oh, you know what, mid Feb we're going to start something. Indian football at the moment is that one guy who forgets to equip the oxygen cylinder in excitement while diving and now desperately needs help from the rest. It's a weird comparison, but football is unofficially dead in this country, right? Or am I wrong? Simon, I don't think it's dead. If it was dead, then at this moment, as I speak to you, 1 hour, 17 minutes plus of this live, 28 of you are listening. Um, we've actually interesting, we've actually grown in our community, in our small little community in the last few weeks. So thank you for that as always. There is an interest in football. And again, not everybody seems to be asking the right questions, I would always say, but people are asking questions. So that for me is a sign. The question is, can we turn things in the right direction or can we push things in the right direction? And to me, it is not dead because if it was dead, then we wouldn't even have these conversations. The question is, are people, are entities going to take the right decision for the future of Indian football? Are people going to take a call, not just for now, for this moment, for this immediate problem? Because we need a plan which is short, mid, and long term. Because the short term solutions, we're looking, the I League, the IWL to me are perfect examples of that. It's not working. We need long term solutions so that it is plannable, it's scalable, and at some stage, you have to force the clubs to invest into own infrastructure. That's going to be the key driver that we need to push towards. Whether it's fan code, Zerodha, whoever, no one is biting for as a commercial partner. The hard truth, without FST, no Indian Premier Football League will happen, period. That's it. G9I, let's put in two things. Fan code was never interested as a commercial partner. They went to those meetings, um, but they were only interested potentially in the OTT broadcasting space. That's their forte. That's where they work and operate. Nothing more. Zerodha came in. Zerodha listened. Zerodha looked. And Zerodha realized, okay, I can put in money, but I'm not going to get anything back. Again, it's not only you or me or all of us who are here in this room at the moment. If you have money, and we all are football fans, I'm honest enough to say I would not put even 1 rupee into Indian football at the moment. If I had 1 rupee extra, I would not put it into Indian football because it's not coming back to me. That's the reality. Sir, FSDL is still active. They're doing the RFDL and RFYC youth champs also. Nopang League also runs in Northeast. No, Abhirup, that is not FSDL. That is Reliance Foundation. Separate division. This FSDL is the professional sports management body to run Indian Super League or manage commercial assets in Indian football. Reliance Foundation Development League Reliance Foundation, Young Champs, the Nopang League in Mizoram, all of those are Reliance Foundation. That is happening, you know, and reality. Hey, Dark Knight, welcome back. I bet no one does even 1% of such in depth discussions at the office than in here. Yeah, Simon, I think 0% discussion. Sorry, then you have to have the knowledge to have these discussions. No, it's not only just me, you guys are, we are discussing it and trying to figure out what the issues and the problems are. They're not having these discussions. Find, again, you have to do what I see in these kind of situations. Um, do a SWOT analysis. Do a SWOT analysis, and then you will see where do I stand, where can I go, how do I go. Because at the moment, the way we're going, we're a headless chicken. This whole Indian football scenario is like a headless chicken trying to survive. Neil says Indian football like Germany's circus, like Germany went extinct, hoping football doesn't face same fate. I don't think it will go extinct. Again, you're saying, oh, dead, close to death. Again, I go back to my favorite sleeping giant quote of Mr. Blatter. Um, yeah, maybe that sleeping giant has been given, I don't know, an injection and we're in coma. I don't even know what it is, but we're not dead. But the problems need to be solved at different levels. And it shows you, as I've said multiple times, it's not just an AFF problem. A lot of people have been saying, oh, it's an AFF problem. No. So that's the thing. Whenever the asset clubs went and asked FSL what to do, all this has been happening. No. FSDL is not there. Why should they ask FSDL? What is FSDL's potential role in this? FSDL is not there. Right? And if FSDL, uh, then people say, oh, FSDL is instigating, which people are saying, right? Proful Patel is instigating, FSDL is instigating. They're not even there in the scene. This is between AFF and clubs now. And the clubs are not speaking one voice. East Bengal fans on Twitter are insufferable. They think every club can go and touch Mamata Banerjee's feet. Yeah, but Ayush, has Mamata Banerjee come forward to help Mohammedan Sporting? Just a simple example of the current situation. No. Without Mamata Banerjee, East Bengal would be in a Mohammedan Sporting situation. As big as East Bengal is, right? Even Mohun Bagan were forced into their partnership with Mr. Goenka. Mohun Bagan fans are also delusional, saying, hey, if Mr. Goenka goes, someone else will come. So where do we go? Hi, Brahma. Can we see FIFA ban? Brahma, this is not the reason of a FIFA ban at the moment. So I don't know. To get sponsors while having loss every year. Ayush, another problem which we don't realize is that the government has made sports sponsorship more difficult by banning surrogate betting advertising. Forget Indian football, Indian sports. Even cricket has a problem. There's a substantial chunk of money which has gone out, and even companies who built their business on it, like a Dream 11, have to change their model. So we have problems at multiple levels. Indian football on ventilator. Yeah, Dark Knight, maybe that is the more appropriate example at the moment. According to you, sir, who was a good AFF president in its entire history? Apex, again, I can only talk about the presidents that I have seen, and I've seen three of them properly: Mr. Rasmunchi, Professor Patel, and Kalyan Chaube. Kalyan hands down is the worst. And I would say, because of the interest and whatever, I would say Mr. Rasmunchi amongst the three would have been the best. Out of context, but what happened to the ISL Children's League? It started on Jan February 20. Was it a one-time thing? Simon, COVID hit. COVID hit, and the whole idea died out. I was really looking forward to June 2020 when the AFF elections were to be held. Now we're going to suffer another year and another wasted. G9I don't know where you get your June date from. There is no, there was and there is the September date. Nothing has changed. So even with sports ministry and whatever, blah, 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 there's people are saying, um, the September date at the moment still hold ground. So yeah, let's see. Now, what you said is completely right. When the new AIFF president comes, they can change the constitution and the situation will be overturned up down, but clubs have patience to wait. No, they don't. Right? Let the AIFF take 10% of gross revenue and let clubs elect its president who make rule and regulations. AIFF should only take a regulatory role that is promotion and relegation happen. Where is the revenue? We are already talking about sharing revenue. Where is the revenue? There is no revenue. There is only spending. That's the problem. And not being discussed at the moment. At the moment, it looks like if the league happens, there will be no relegation. And we'll have to see if there's going to be promotion because we don't know if there's going to be an I League. So all of those things, yeah. Sir, in your opinion, will there be any league in 25, 26? Abhirup, I've been saying for the last 2.5 months, post Durga Puja, I've been saying there is a 1% chance of the league happening. And I stick to that. I've said that and I stick to that because to me, yeah, it's a 1% chance. It was a 1% chance. It is a 1% chance, in my opinion. And I don't need to change or deviate from that. No parry match, no bet 365, no spot up, no Wolves 777, no DAFA. Yeah. So, I mean, if AFF issues a tender for direct broadcasting instead of appointing commercial partner, wouldn't that work? Wouldn't they be able to get at least 150 crore deal, additional 50 crore from sponsorship? Tushar, where are you getting these numbers from? Yeah. I mean, I don't even know where you're getting your 50 crore from sponsorship. I mean, is there one sponsor willing to put in 1 rupee? Just general question. Is there any sponsor willing to put in 1 rupee first? And what is the broadcasting right value of Indian football at the moment? You are saying 150, right? At least. It is a zero. It has been a zero and is a zero. Right? Whatever people said, oh, this is the valuation, those are the valuation. There is no value. The product is being systematically, killed. So you have to rebuild. And your two big broadcasting partners, none of them is going to give you money. Missing out on 1 year of professional football, what is the impact on players, not financial but development wise? Neil, it's a disaster. But I've heard nothing of players thinking about going elsewhere. That is also a thing. No, the players are still happy because so far, most of the entities are still giving them the money. Or now, if ISL clubs are attention, they will wait until next election and they can put their man on the president and executive committee voting the state affairs. That may be cruel. No, Kumar. I don't know in which land you live, but the clubs are not going to be able to do that. I know this is just a guess. And do you think ever they're waiting for the current regime to collapse or exit AFF because of pressure? As I say, they have invested so much, just leaving completely may not be the full stop as they're waiting for the collapse, or is this the end of for real? Reason they are gone. FSDL are tata bye bye in the summer, not now, in the summer. They're gone, right? And FSDL potentially, I don't know, but theoretically, maybe they will put either shut down the company in a couple of days or maybe put it dormant. I know a lot of people are leaving or are being reassigned within the Reliance system. I saw somewhere that Indian government spends less on sports than even way smaller countries like Hungary. Yeah, our government doesn't spend anything on sports. Sir, if government delay AFF election, can FIFA FC ban us? Yes, but government has no position um, to delay the AFF elections, right? Bribing Kumar, yeah, go ahead with those ideas. It works. The only solution is they have to go back to FSL. No other way. Yeah, PC, let them go back, but FSDL will not do anything now. I mean, that's what I'm saying. The question isn't FSDL here, FSDL there. Does FSDL as an entity still exist? Where are the biggest sufferers of all the Indian footballers out of all of this? No accountability, fine, no standing up in one voice, creating ruckus around the AIFF house. Wow. Simon, that's the thing, right? We are in a situation where we could um, do things, but none of it's happening. And yeah, it's 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 sad, but that's the reality. I'm getting desperate. FIFA, please ban AIFF and put normalization committee. Dark Knight, there is no reason for them to put a normalization committee at the moment. The league problems, yes, are problems, but yeah. So why do you think that some of the I-League clubs are looking conducting a combined league of ISL and I-League clubs? Because some of these corporate run I-League teams think of themselves that they should be ISL teams rather than part of the I-League. Srinidhi, Gokulam don't think of themselves that they want to be in the I-League, right? But again, on the other side, if you see Gokulam, for example, women's team, regular champions, used to be the best team of India. Now they're struggling in the IWL. I'm watching Zimbabwe South Africa AFCON match. Good game and quality of the game looks way better. Yeah, AFCON is an own story in itself. I mean, on one side there's the football, on the other side it's sometimes it's like a soap opera. It's a comedy show and this and that and everything. It's a meme show. Yeah, that's the African Cup at the moment for you. Right. Quick reminder: more than 1 hour and 31 minutes, nearly 1 hour, 32 minutes, nearly 92 minutes of this live on this Monday evening here on Arun Foot. If you haven't, please like, share, and subscribe. 28 likes so far. Thank you very much, everyone. Share with other people to join in. And if you haven't, you're liking the conversations, do subscribe to the channel. We stand at 3,618 today. Thank you very, very much. We are slowly but clearly growing. And yes, we have the most honest conversations in the online world on Indian football. So do support us and yeah, do support me as well. Other clubs will wait for AFC decision before taking a final call. What does Marcus mean by this? The one-time exemption or the AFC slots? AFC slots. If AFC says, no, no, we won't allow you to play, then yeah, you know, that's that is the thing. So who will take the players who don't compete against Bangladesh now? Even lower fifth leagues also don't take our players. Obidob, yes, I've said this. I don't see them going into, but the players or the agents need to make an effort to place the players if there are no options, right? I mean, the force majeure has not been enacted, but force majeure could still be enacted in the coming days. So what do the players do then? At this point in time, all we can do as fans is scratch our heads and say, meeting outcome, next meeting date. Yeah, think about it. Today was supposed to be the big day that they have announced, oh, you know what? The clubs have agreed to our proposal. We are starting in, I don't know, 5th of Feb or whatever the date was, right? Which was, anyway, unlikely. Um, and therefore, I don't even know when the next meeting is set. They're talking, they're talking, they're talking. They don't even keep their own timelines. Another in India bribing will work. Kumar, then please go ahead. But again, in the state federations, not so easy. Even after almost 7+ months of so-called solution making. Simon, solution making, solution searching, hoping, wishing, praying, something will happen, something miraculously will change. None of it has happened, right? We are in a very delicate position. Things are the way they are, and we've not been able to evolve into something better, right? And that's the sad part. So, where do you see a national team's position in the near future? Apex national team is very far away. We are in a very tricky situation that our national team could go down even further because where is the development happening? We've been having a problem since COVID with our development cycle in regard to our youth. Again, the under 17s qualified. Is it really our success or the failure of Iran? Iran is going to face a massive drop, it seems. And let's wait and see what happens. But national team, senior team, I don't know, under 23s, very big problem. But why is Monmouth Supergiant waiting? They're banned by FC. PC Gamer Tag, I think they're tagging along with the other clubs on that matter. Sir, I have a golden idea. Should government make rule that those who have ISL, I League broadcasting right have only right to broadcast foreign league like Premier League, Bundesliga, etc.? Do you think it will it work? It will. It's think it would work. No, I can't because I think the government cannot mandate you to say, listen, you have to show Indian football and then you can buy international rights. And then you know what? TV broadcasters are not interested even in international rights. The World Cup at the moment has no taker. The World Cup rights have not been sold in the Indian market. La Liga has had problems. Serie A has problems. Ligue 1 is gone. Bundesliga had issues in the past, right? Even the Premier League now. So therefore, this the golden idea might be nice in an authoritarian state where you can tell your broadcasters what to show or not to show. But um, yeah, again, certain people have been telling me, oh, it needs to go on DD Sports. It's like, who has DD Sports would be my first question. Who in India now has Doordarshan Sports for us to be able to watch Indian football on DD Sports? And if we're going to put all of this on DD Sports, then the quality is going to go down even further. So I don't know where we would be heading with that. So um, so therefore, yeah, uh, nice idea, but not implementable. Anish says or asks, is there any way we can realistically get a profitable league in next 10 years? If you ask me today, current scenario, no. In this current scenario, in the way that we are heading at this moment in time as we talk, get up once. If we are in the situation we are in now, as you and I and we talk, then no chance. No chance whatsoever, because we are in an unrealistic scenario of moving in the right direction. For me, that's the thing. So if the right steps are taken, things are rectified, and you have a proper roadmap towards sustainability, then it is. Because the biggest problem is we just spoke about the broadcasting part. Broadcasting is what brings you money into the system. If you don't bring in that money, nothing will work, right? So therefore, for me, it's it is that is but the product needs to be so good that someone will be willing to pay for it. That enough fans are watching, that people are willing to put money on this. Hey, listen, you know what? This is so good. Let's do this. You know? Do you think that the appointment of Khalid Jamil as the head coach was a good decision? I know the problem was never the coach, but beyond that, the team was a lot better in his tenure. No, Apex. Khalid, I've made videos on it. Sorry, with all due respect, I know Khalid for the last 25 years. Khalid was the wrong appointment. These sports as an OTT called Waves. I've heard about it, but again, who watches it? Right? Who knows about it? PC Game Attack. So, Germany preparing for FIFA World Cup, and what can we expect from them? Dark Knight, at the moment, there's no preparation for the World Cup because the players are focused on the leagues. At the back end, the federation is preparing whatever it needs to do. And on the other side, the players are doing whatever they need to do. So that looks fine. So for me, at this moment in time, yeah, that's where I think Germany will be there, and let's see. They could go far in the tournament, but they will have to do the right things to be able to do that. Hi, Brahma. College may call players with Indian passport playing outside for national team if things is like this. Yeah, but who are those players? Right? Is again is Abni Bharti the level of player that I want to play for the national team? I don't know how many matches has Abni played in the last 7, 8 years. 25, 26, 27. Right? Is he good enough to be playing national? I don't know. Other players as well. I don't know. Right? So very difficult. Good night, Simon. So that's the problem, right? You know. So yeah. According to you, how much of Ranjit Bajaj would benefit in football? None. With all due respect to Ranjit, sorry Ranjit, but some of the ideas sound very nice, but again, you've gotten us into this mess. You need to, you know, uh, we say in German, walk to Canossa and wash off your sins. Because taking the AIFF to the Supreme Court with the Constitution and other things, also talking about those 10 Messis and then yourself going with your team to meet Messi again, no, it doesn't make sense. Sorry, you know, it's these are sad, brutal realities of where our football stands. And again, if he was as good as he says, his academy was and is, where are the products to take us to the next level? Have you ever produced an Asian level player? Right? Your resources might not be the best, but could you? Would you? Should you? I don't know. Right? So it's difficult. It's difficult where we stand today to try and figure out, can we go to the next level? Can we? And we're not even talking about that at the moment. At the moment, we're talking about the league somehow or the other surviving. That is that is for me the biggest thing at the moment, right? We're talking about that Indian football somehow survives. We're not talking about some big thing, right? And so that's the thing. And now the world champion team lost to Punjab FC and U18 elite team is playing World Cup in his dream. Yeah, come on. Again, PR. Feeling bad for Ryan Williams, sir. Brahma, I rather than feeling bad for Ryan Williams, I give him a respect that despite knowing that this might have happened, that he's come forward and done what he's done. Right. Uh so for me, huge respect. I've said that. I've even posted it under his social medias that he's willing to take up Indian passport. And yeah, and I hope to see him in March play for India. Can a radical idea be to focus on some 50, 100 boys who can represent India team and try to qualify World Cup? Once they qualify, might get the viewership to see product. Anish, those are nice ideas, but if you're going to focus on 50 and 100 boys, it will not work. You need to, eh, you know, the talent pyramid works that you get as many kids as possible. I mean, let me keep it this way, and then you funnel it to the top, right? I try to keep it. Let me, it's this big. So let's say you've got millions of kids playing, and you get the best 100, and out of that best 100, you pick your teams. Uh, and this is under 50, 100 boys you have to train in the Indian's ecosystem. That's why the FIFA AIFF Academy might be a nice idea, but the problem is the kids are playing in the Indian system, right? I think Ryan Williams is the only good thing in the Indian football ecosystem right now. Yeah, Aditya. That's why I say a huge credit. And where are my manners? Good evening, sir. Good evening, Aditya. Yeah. It is sad to think that our national team has not been even able to bring a replacement for JJ. Yeah, Apex replacement for JJ. Before that, Robin Singh, Eugene Sin Lingdo, a lot of positions. Talent, um, um, Lal Rindika Ralte, a lot of players in that generation. Rajiv is a dead wood when the bids are zero, says Kumar. Okay. I wish I could say something about Rishosi at this stage. I cannot even blame anyone. Should I blame Ron Sharma? But because it's like this right now, or should I blame anyone else? Aditya, you can blame the AFF. You can blame also the club. So yes, Rohan needs to take some of the blame himself. I think the whole Odisha FC shebang needs to take some of the blame itself. The state associations need to take a blame. The players need to take a blame. The coaches need to take a blame. You need to take a blame. I need to take a blame. We all need to take a blame. No one is innocent, you know. Um, so therefore, for me, um, you know, um, that is yeah, that's the problem, right? So the blame game or the blame part is always very easy, but very difficult because at the end of the day, there's a whole shebang to be blamed. I meant a smaller number, considering countries with less population qualified, maybe they can be trained in foreign system. Anish, you can't train in a foreign system um, because again, how can your kids be integrated in a foreign system? FIFA regulations, Europe, you've got European Union laws. Um, Yeah, there are too many problems in that. So therefore, from that perspective, I don't see it happening. And a smaller number, again, these countries have not worked on a specific group of kids and said, oh, you know what, this and that. A lot of these countries who are successful at the moment are using diaspora. Cape Verde, Curacao, even the North African countries. If Suriname qualifies, Suriname, all of them are using origin players. Even a Korea, Japan are calling up, you know, European or North American born players. So that is a point. Oh, sorry. Kumar says Arunava, AIFF is like presentation of presentation with PPT. Yeah, it is a lot of conversations, a lot of talk, but where is that constructive conversation of taking things in the right direction? That's my problem. Taking blame is something not practiced in India. We always play the blame game, blaming someone else instead of us. I know that humans are like that, but in India we practice it limitless. Aditya, very well said. Very, very well said. Because there is no introspection, right? Or no, not, to say no introspection would be wrong. There is introspection, but you're not going to publicly say, I did this wrong, I did this wrong. Because I always say, right, I always say, my time, Mumbai City, Roundgrass, Punjab, yes, there's certain things I could have, should have maybe done differently, but I didn't. This time last year, I thought the 24 was the worst for Indian football. Again, our system proved me wrong. Apex, yeah, it is sad, but the reality is that, and I warned this in 2023, that if we don't do the right things, we are moving in the wrong direction. And we were not willing to do what was needed. Therefore, we are now where we are. We are in a very precarious situation, a very dangerous situation. And I'm not sure if we can get out of this. Right. Another Afghan football is very good to watch. Okay, Kumar said, if ISL not happened, will Kanya position will be in danger? Any views on it? Rama, I think yes. If the season doesn't happen, then the president does come under a certain level of pressure. Right? Um, yeah, it will put pressure on the president, 100%. Getting one-time exemption shouldn't be tricky. AFC knows league football is in shambles, but the biggest hurdle is the commercial partner. How can AFF get it in a week? I don't think AFC is going to look at it lightly, and they shouldn't, right? And again, if you had consulted the AFC and said, "Oh, you know what, we're facing a few problems here and there. Can you help us? Can you advise us? What should we do? How should we do?" Then the conversation is different. They haven't done that, right? And to go to AFC is like, okay, listen, it is past 12, but I'm still trying to do something. Not going to work. I don't think clubs should accept. Jamshedpur FC will probably put second team. Mohanbad Supergiant, East Bengal, Pasir. I think majority of clubs should not accept this proposal. This is suicide. Yeah, but Jamshedpur FC is not going to put a B team. Jamshedpur FC is going to put an A team. I know this for the last 3 weeks that Jamshedpur, if something like this happens, will play with the proper team. So that's the reality, right? Um, East Bengal is in, yes. Mohun Bagan most probably in. I said, I think it's a Northeast, Interkashi as well. I see playing. Or now the AFF president should have signed on the paper blindly, given AFS there whatever they put on the platter after seeing the situation. Kumar, afterwards you're always wiser, but for the AFF, again, last year the situation was that they said to themselves, listen, we need money. You're giving us no fixed sum. No, we want 50 crores, bus, khatam. Now, now the discussion was happening, I don't even know what figure Reliance could put on. Reliance would most probably would give them some money, right? Next time, this time last year, I thought that 21 was the worst for Indian football. Again, our system proved me wrong. Aditya, I hope not. I seriously hope not. But yes, that could be possible. That could be very, very much possible. AFF making the worst things, no chance for this season happen. Rakesh, you know, so yeah, it is. It is. Um, we'll have to wait and see where we go with this. Mohammed Superjan is leading a fight against AFF. They never accept this AFF model. Only East Bengal will AFF league. Rakesh, that's not true. Mohun Bagan is leading no fight. Mohun Bagan is fighting for themselves. Don't make Mohun Bagan holier than they are. Right? Mohun Bagan will join East Bengal before other teams in this, right? Mohun Bagan Super Giant are not the saviors of this. As I said, Jamshedpur FC already, and I knew this because if Jamshedpur FC don't play, Tatas will shut the team. That's their pressure. East Bengal have said they're with AIFF. Again, that's linked to the Anwar Ali case and appeals or players' status, whatever committee it is at the moment. Jamshedpur is that. Northeast United has too many commitments across the states. So there is a certain political pressure on them. Um, and Interkashi have a certain level of pressure on them as well politically. So already got 4 or 5 teams who could agree to this. I don't think Chennai FC, Odisha FC, Mohammedan Sporting will play any league this season. Mohammedan Sporting will also play. Sorry, I forgot Mohammedan Sporting. Mohammedan Sporting is in. They'll do whatever they have once. They'll even put in like in the Super Cup, they'll put some kids in, but they'll put a team together. Odisha and Chennai won't play. And then you've got the others who are in the middle. Arunava said to enjoy Mohammed Super Giant without football. What the hell is he doing in India? Come on. He's come back. You've given him a contract. You're paying him. He's training, or he has trained. Now he's got a holiday. He's going to come back. He's fine. What do you think about our national team's disastrous Asian Cup qualifiers campaign? Apex, it was bound to happen. With this coach, again, jokingly, I would say I would be better than Khalid Jamil. It's not difficult. It's because people have been, blind in the appointments. A national team to manage a national team is not managing a club side. So can we expect from Info in 2026? Dark Knight, I expect nothing. I've given up on this expectation part. Playing Robert was a big mistake. Should have left him in China. I don't know. I think for Adisha, he's done his job. So why would Northeast United or Interkashi agree? How can a business keep investing in a loss-making proposition for the near future? East Bengal and Tatas understand is maybe East Bengal has other sources of revenue. East Bengal has no other sources of revenue. They're dependent on their investor like Mohun Bagan. But Northeast United have commitments with Meghalaya and Arunachal Pradesh state. So they need to keep running somehow, right? And Interkashi also has commitments in UP. PC majority clubs teams are against AIFF and East Bengal supporting. At the moment, East Bengal is supporting, but even East Bengal is not supporting. Nituda is supporting, and I think Imami is against it. But yeah. So as the season as it will happen and say about chances after this meeting, in my view, league not to start the season and need to hard reset. Rama, I said 1% chance. I stick to that. 1% chance, I said 2.5 months ago. And to me, I say this again, with all due respect to everyone involved, I think it's better if this season doesn't happen. I seriously believe for Indian football, the best thing to happen would be if the league does not happen. Because the league, the way it's happening at the moment, is not taking us anywhere. So that's my simple take. And it puts pressure on the AFF even more and on Kalyan Chaube. And that is, I think, the main thing that needs to happen. There needs to be more pressure on Kalyan Chaube. Because the pressure is not there from the EXCO. There's no pressure from the state associations, which should be there. I say clubs have been left unsettled after fresh discussions on the league's centralized model, highlighting rising operational costs with the estimate for the goal expected 42 crores. Aditya, this is not working. The clubs will lose in this model, in the short-term league, they will lose more money in 3 months than they lost in the whole season last year. Right? The commercial viability at the moment, given these realities, are lower. Then I would suggest to the clubs, do a force majeure and do a hard reset next summer under a new AFF. East Bengal team are beggars. Just they're showing they're only good club in India, but reality is mapping in football to die. Well done, East Bengal team. Rakesh, it's not East Bengal team. It is an official at East Bengal. Now the joke is Selchobe is happy with the current team. He does not want any addition. All this conversation without league. Kumar, what is he supposed to say? Oh, you know what? My team is not good. I want players. This. If you don't have a league, live with it for the moment. Apathy, no chance for leagues this season, even next season, doubtful. Rakesh, we need a new AIFF. Without a new AIFF, nothing is happening. But if league won't happen, we might lose many clubs, as you also pointed out. Anish, yes, it's a chance. But again, we need a reset. And the reset is not going to come from the current AIFF. My big problem. This is not going to happen internally from within the AIFF. This reset needs to come from outside. And that reset can only happen if drastic steps are taken. And so yeah, we are in a very difficult scenario. I read recently a meeting AIFF had asked clubs to find them a broadcasting partner. What the hell? So what is the AIFF for? They want to run this, but want to sit in their throne with the funds and others to make them a league. Gosh, they go off these clubs. No, Wilson. Um, the problem is um, in this model that the AIFF doesn't have the relationships with people to be able to ask them something. That is the problem. Your problem isn't that the AIFF is not going. No broadcaster would entertain them. That is the real problem, which you and I should be talking about, right? Um, yeah. So that's the problem, and um, I don't know if we are in a situation of yeah, trying to get out of this. How are we going to get out of this, right? So so yeah, very very difficult. Your view on Odisha FC statement, Roshan? Which statement, right? Anish, you have to this the question. Ranjit Bajaj, see the one stopping FSTL, says Rakesh. What was my fault? All I did was fall in love with this club. I think this was the biggest crime I've ever committed. No, you've not. Aditya, falling in love with the club, um, falling in love with that entity, it's good. From my point of view, it's good. But you have good times, you have bad times, and sometimes, yeah, let's see. Now, if a new regime comes, can they change the constitution the first day of office? But what about the troublemaker? They will file a case in Supreme Court. Kumar, I don't know if they can change it on the first day. I think it will take a little bit of time, but can they file a case in Supreme Court? No, because the Supreme Court has no jurisdiction on it anymore, no? As the new constitution then says. So therefore, that's the thing. Chennai and FC Mumbai City will leave. No, I don't know if Mumbai City will leave. Chennai, I think yes. Odisha FC looks yes, but Mumbai City, I want to see. You know. Sorry, no statement. There was news Odisha FC won't participate, no broadcaster. Roshan, this is their position since the Super Cup. There's nothing new. Today, people sell this to you or to me or to us as news. Odisha FC said this. Yeah. So that's the point. Rakesh says Mahesh, Mohun Bagan, FC Goa, Kerala Blasters, Bangalore FC, Northeast United, no club ready to play AFF League. Yeah. Not ready, but some will be forced. Rakesh. Forget Mumbai City FC, they might trim down because Ranbir Kapoor has no idea about football. PC Gamertech, who says that to you? How do you say that Ranbir Kapoor has no idea about football? And you're saying this in front of me who's worked with Ranbir Kapoor. RK has knowledge and understanding of football. He is interested in football. He's better than most other people. I've worked with him. So I love this. Again, I've said this to other people as well. You have opinions on matters where you can't have an opinion because you don't know the people. Right? So they have made themselves so bad that the broadcasters don't want to work with them. Wow. No, Persian, they don't have a relationship because in the last 11 years, the broadcasting relationship was via, or not last 11 years, last 15 years, the relationship was via FSDL or IMG Reliance. Um, so before that, it was the Z Group. So in the last 20 years, the AFF had actually not to deal with broadcasts except in some situations where they did. But yeah. Now that J League is successful, right, but not profitable. Kumar, I don't really know the full numbers of J Leagues. I know that certain clubs are profitable. I don't know if J League as a league is profitable or not. Why Chennai FC want to leave? They're the only proper club in Chennai. Even the owner already spent a lot on sports like owning UTT. Anish, UTT is also a loss-making entity, huh? Yeah. I guess Marcus posted AFC. We have the situation, but an AFF statement 1 or 2 days ago quoted the AFF didn't talk with the AFC. You understand the situation? Yeah, Roshan. Because I speak to the AFC. So I know that the AFC know what the situation is, right? I've worked for the AFC. So the AFC exactly know what the situation is. Home and away, more clubs were ready to play. Mahesh, yes, but again, it's not about home and away. It's about the funding. There's a lack of money in the system to fund the whole thing. That is the real problem at this moment of this league. So I don't know. I don't know if we can sort this out, given the realities of things, which make it very, very tricky, very difficult, right? So for me, I don't know. PC game is Bengal fan better in your turf, man. No, Rakesh, he's not speaking bad about other teams. He's just asking questions, observations, right? So be respectful. Right, guys. Another unprofessional behavior from AF not talking with AFC. Roshan, their relationships are not there. Again, they don't have proper relationships outside of government to some extent. They don't have relationships with anyone, current AFF. And that's the most important thing. Your most important thing running AFF is your management of relationships with FIFA, with AFC, with your commercial partner, with your clubs, and with your state associations. Another top to bottom approach will not work for us. Bottom should also should be started at the same time. Kumar, yeah, but a bottom to top approach will not, bottom up approach will also not work. You know, so no. So that's also not going to work. Who will put the money at the bottom to wait? You've asked this question how many times in the last 2 years plus? No one will do that. So EFL Championship operated by English FA right now. Current watching championship match Commentary City was a no. The uh, EFL is operated by the EFL. So Championship, League One, League Two are operated by the English Football League, which is an entity below the Premier League. National League, which is the fifth tier down, that is operated by the English FA. And just follow was the local clubs is okay, sir. Will clubs lose more money if they play this season? Yes, Mahesh. You talked about the push of force coming from outside. Do you think it will happen before the next election, or this is a perpetual thing? I hope it happens. I don't know if it's going to happen, but this whole thing is in such a stalemate, difficult stalemate situation. I don't know if it's going to be pushed in the right direction or not. But at the moment, that is my wish and my hope. So just read the Kerala article, the Goa leg alone take 42 crore without adding the Kolkata leg. Only FSL or any other part can save any football. Abhirup, this whole thing about centralized venues is a bigger cost than doing home and away. For most of the clubs, it is cheaper to stay in your own location, fly somewhere, stay there 2 days, come back. That's the reality. Again, these guys are planning something without knowing the basics of running a league. Because they've never run a league. The I-League, they run what? They schedule it, they organize it per se, and again, the I-League department doesn't, Sulandadhar is no longer there. I've worked with the guy during the bubble league. I did comment, I was an expert commentator towards the end of the 21-22 season. This AIFF is in shambles. And that is the biggest problem of this. Right, more than 2 hours. Wow, I didn't expect this, but I keep on trying to answer all your queries and questions. Again, ISL, yes or no? Where do we stand? 64 votes, 38 people are saying that will happen. 62% are saying that it will not happen. And right, that's interesting. And yeah, no sponsors will come this season. That's the problem. And Kumar, good night. And Roshan will answer that. Tete Amara League Committee, not that I know of. Would have to ask Tete that. But the conversation continues. Sadly, at this time of the year, we should be doing live watch-alongs and talk about the matches. Yeah. So this was great conversation for Indian football. Keep the hope up. Good night. And thanks to you, to everyone. Once more, reminder, please like, please share. If you're listening, watching, even maybe afterwards, you like the conversation that we've had over here, please subscribe to the channel. We're growing slowly. And also, subscribe to my Insta, to my X, to my Facebook. Go on to arunfoot.com, support the channel, and I'll be back tomorrow with another live. And let's see what happens. And Anish, you're welcome as always. You're welcome as well. Let's grow this community. And as you say, turn back on it. Say, wow, good to see the audience count on this up. Thanks, Simon, to you as well. Yeah, Roshan, the RW is there, but again, you tell me how the ad is, you know, and Rakesh, don't focus too much on East Bengal and what they're saying. Again, if Nitula tomorrow says, "Oh, you know what, we need to be part of something," the fans will also say something else. I'm not taking it too seriously. So, guys, good night, and I'll catch you very very soon again.